Welcome to She Loves the Grid, where we discuss all things F1. Whether it's happening on the track, in the paddock, or beyond the grid, we'll talk about it all. All right, it's the first week or so of summer. I've lost track of time already. Welcome back. Hello, Dianne. This is Claire.
Hello. Yes, it's a Monday. Yeah, we got busy yesterday, I suppose. And yeah, it's all good. But yeah, I think they're technically first day of summer break because teams had last week off to, close down, whatever. I saw Mercedes admin, I think today posted admin out. See you in a couple weeks. So yeah, first official for many of them.
Yeah, but we have news, right? We were posting about it. We now know where Carlos is going. Well, before we get going, how has been your week? This first week of not a lot going on and no race to prep for. And
yeah, well, I was sick, so that was
not talk that much because you were sick.
Yeah, no, I don't like to talk when I'm sick, because I annoy myself when I'm sick, and everything is annoying and irritating. So yeah, no, we didn't talk that much, but yeah, I was sick, so I mainly just laid around and watched the Olympics. So, what about you?
We watched the Olympics, played games. I had my first in-person Dungeons and Dragons session at my house yesterday, which was kind of cool. So being a nerd, yeah, that kind of stuff.
That's awesome.
And it's gone from warm to rainy to chilly again because I'm in a jacket. It's chilly, so
it's like never ending the weather there. It's always all over the place.
European summers. All right, into F1.
Yes. Carlos. Major news. Carlos, Monday morning. Like he said, like at some point during the pressers, the last race weekend, people were asking him, as usual, have you decided? Da da da. He said, I've been busy watching the Euro Cup, and his usual spiel of this is a big decision. And then Monday morning, wake up and I was like, oh, what? And it was Williams. I knew it. I knew it was going to be Williams. After a while, I just knew it. So excited. I love Williams. I've been meaning to buy Williams gear. Now, guess what I'll have to be buying?
I have a shirt.
That's right. You do. Yes. So I'm just super excited. I think what's awesome is their announcement said that he has joined the team from 2025, 2026, and beyond. So we know that James Vowles had said that he wanted somebody who was going to be around for a few years. Obviously, with the new engines and stuff in 2026, you don't want somebody coming in for 1 year and then, So he got what he wanted there, which is amazing. James also said that Carlos is going to be a great fit for Williams, which I totally agree. Carlos said that it's 100% the right spot for him. He really believes in the project and he really believes in what they've done already. So, that he has all the details that we don't know, like what James' plan is to get them back to the front, all of that stuff. Carlos said, I am convinced that this team has all the right ingredients to make history again. So it's just so exciting. Now we just need Adrian Newey to say that he is going there too. And it will be amazing. It's going to be a trifecta.
And it's some of those things when he talks about going home, Adrian Newey, who said some hints like that, that's where he started.
Yes.
Makes me think that would be an amazing matchup. And it'd be a cool kind of story for Williams, right? To be so strong and then have these hard years and to come back. That would be a neat story.
Absolutely. And James has had his work cut out from him. I mean, we all know about the Excel spreadsheet from earlier this year, and they don't know what parts they have or where the parts are. And that's probably just one thing. So, I mean, it's a whole shift and that's going to take time. So I love that whatever he said to Carlos and his team resonated with them and they think it's doable, which, I mean, I think James Vowles is a great leader. So I would really like to be in on these conversations. Like, I want to know what the plans are. But then it got me thinking, like, remember how in Spain we kept waiting for we were told like the announcement's coming, it's coming, he's signing with Williams, and then nothing. So I was like, how long has this deal been done? Was it done in Spain and they decided to hold off? Did Carlos decide in Spain, hold up, now I want to talk to Alpine, so we're not going to sign it just yet, and maybe it's been done for the last few weeks or last month? Like, I kind of wish we knew. I want the whole story. I want to know the whole story. But
well,
I love too that Carlos is going from one story team, Ferrari, all their history, all of that, to another one. I think that is pretty cool. Like you said, I mean, even if Adrian Newey came back where he started, like the stories, this is awesome. And if they can make it, put them back towards the front, what a success story that's going to be. I'm also super excited about Alex and Carlos pairing because they're both golfers. I think they're both pretty chill. I think they both like to have fun. Alex can be a little silly, but he's also very smart. And I think same with Carlos. They both have lost their appendix, so they're going to be the only appendix-less team like on the grid that we know of. So I think even like their content together is going to be really good. And I think they both are good teammates. So yeah, there's just a lot of exciting stuff. And I kind of felt a smidge bad for Logan that day because as soon as Williams announced it, the entire day, it was like every 15 minutes, every half hour, every hour, I don't know what it was, but the Carlos content was just a coming. It was like, it just kept coming and coming. It was like the Carlos Sainz day on Williams. And now they've gotten back to their regular stuff, but yeah.
Yeah. But no, I think it's going to be a great pairing. I'm looking forward to that. I'm glad I bought that Williams shirt. I'm sure that at Monza, they're going to sell out really quickly.
Well, if you can find them, because they never have their own little stand like the other teams. But oh my gosh, I was just thinking of something. Oh, you know what? The other thing I'm excited about. So Alex Albon, we know he has his whole merch line, right? And he's done some really fun things with that, really kind of some high-end looking stuff, and then really more fun things with his pets. Ferrari drivers don't do that. We know that like Lando has his line. There's drivers that have their own lines. Ferrari drivers, I'm assuming, are not allowed to do that. They only wear Ferrari merch. They don't wear their own merch. They don't promote their own stuff. So I also think it could be a really cool opportunity for Carlos to like do some stuff, like he could start building up maybe that side of his portfolio with the merch. Like you've got the chili pepper. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff that he can be doing. So I'm also really excited about that. And I hope they're already working on it.
That's really good point. That would be really cool. I know you'll be buying some Carlos merch.
Yeah. As long as it's good. Like it needs to be good. Like don't give me oversized whatever. I need good stuff. That's what I love about Alex's stuff is some of it is very high-end looking. It's very classy looking.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's got some good style.
Exactly. So the other big news that dropped, I think, when did it drop? Tuesday?
Or Wednesday? I think it was.
That Checo will be staying for now with Red Bull.
Which part of me was like, of course, but part of me was a little surprised. I was a little surprised it's a big shakeup wasn't happening.
Yeah. So here's the rumor that's going around. F1 Insider is reporting that Red Bull wanted to get rid of Checo. They wanted him gone, but Liberty Media, who owns Formula One now, they start Drive to Survive, all that good stuff. They prevented it. They stopped it. They're like, nope. Their concern, supposedly, allegedly, is they asked Red Bull to reconsider because they were worried about a revenue drop for the Mexican Grand Prix. So, does Liberty Media have that much sway over a team keeping or not keeping a driver? Who knows?
Interesting.
Very, right?
Money walk.
That's exactly right. Exactly right. And we know that he does bring in a lot of sponsors. And so Chatty Cathy, our ever chatty little helmet Marco, did say that Perez is staying. They said, hang on, I want to make sure I read it. So Perez is staying, We want him to return to his old self. Ricardo also is staying, and so nothing changes. For 2025, the cards will be reshuffled. So they both stay for the end of the year, but according to Chatty Cathy, the cards are going to be reshuffled in 2025. I don't know if that means literally they're going to move Daniel to Red Bull and Checo to AlphaTauri, or if it could be anything.
And that would suck if they would move Daniel up. Why move Daniel up? Why not move Yuki? Because Yuki is a better driver.
Agreed. Yeah.
And deserves it more at this point.
He's done way more this year. And I think you have to say the same thing that you say about Checo is we want to see Daniel return to his regular form.
Mm-hmm.
He did better the last race for sure. But things are very hit and miss. It's very hit and miss. So yeah, Yuki's at least been consistent.
Yeah.
So
yeah, if it weren't for the grid penalty, the 60 place grid penalty for the car,
yeah, and bring it
overcome that.
Yeah, it's a little bit tricky, and yeah, you got to do what you got to do, but yeah, that's a little bit tricky. So the other thing that came out of Red Bull, and I think Red Bull reported this, is their sporting director Jonathan Wheatley is leaving Red Bull at the end of this year to join Audi as their team principal. So that's kind of a big key person, again, leaving Red Bull. I'm not sure if Audi shared that news. I think initially it was only Red Bull, and I know I was a little out of it last week, so I'm not sure if Audi was prepared for that or if they were fine with Red Bull announcing it. I have no idea. But it made me think, how there's been all these rumors about Red Bull is imploding from the inside and blah, blah, blah. Another key player leaving. Is that happening? Is there going to be more people that start leaving because they don't like what's happening over there? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. That's an interesting thing because you're right. Like most of the stuff you see is more Red Bull announcing it about parting ways versus the other. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if Audi has said anything. The first day I think I went and looked at like their the Audi project on LinkedIn. I think I don't think, well, Stake would not report that, but I didn't see it anywhere. So yeah, is Red Bull kind of like, bing, not happy, so we're going to announce it for you. Hopefully it's true. I mean, since we don't necessarily have Audi's confirmation, although I don't think Jonathan Wheatley's come out and said it's not, but they're slowly over there building their team little by little. Speaking of building teams, Alpine. So I don't know if there's been a team that has had more change than Alpine, like this year and last year. It's kind of crazy. But they did announce their new team principal. And this person will be starting at the end of the break. So unlike last year where I think they had interim people, I think it just rotated. Remember when they let Marco? And it was like, who's their team principal? Nobody knows. So they did announce that Oliver Oakes is their new team principal. He's a former race car driver. He was part of Red Bull's junior program back in the day. He founded, I don't know if I'm going to say this right, Hetch or Heich GP. I don't know. Seems German to me. You should probably know how to say that.
Should be hyped.
So they have cars racing in F2 and F3. He is going to report to the Renault CEO. And we know how testy that guy was. Not this Miami, but the Miami before with Otmar. He's not above going to the media to share inside information or personal information. And he will be the second youngest team principal in F1 history. So there you go. That's kind of fun. But
that's fun.
Lots of change happening over there. And the other rumor is people are like 98% sure that Jack Doohan will be Pierre's partner. He will drive for Alpine next year. So
I've been seeing some of that. I didn't want to say much about it. That would be interesting.
yeah,
Silly,
I mean,
silly.
he's been he's been their reserve driver for a while. He pops up on F1 TV from time to time doing, answering questions. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, he's obviously done practice sessions and whatnot, but I don't know. Supposedly it's coming soon, but I think now that everything's shut down, we're not going to know anything until after we come back. But having said that, though, today McLaren announced that they have extended the contract for team principal Andrea Stella. So he will remain with the team. It's a multi-year contract. Don't know how long, but apparently Zach Brown likes what Andrea is doing. And the team is, they are killing it. So he seems like a good team principal. So he's staying. But here's the thing. We're running out of seats.
Yeah.
I meant to go to the F1 page and see what's missing, but off the top of my head, drivers K-Mag, Joe, Botas, Danny Rick don't have contracts. I was trying to think who else am I missing. And we only have Alpine, Mercedes. Who is there any other team that's
I don't think so.
Not complete? Listen, I don't want to lose Valtteri. I don't. So he could go to Mercedes for 1 year. I still think Haas made a huge mistake, and maybe Valtteri didn't want to go to them. But
Mercedes doesn't have anyone confirmed yet on one of their seats. Alpine doesn't. RB doesn't. And Sauber doesn't. So 4.
Oh, 4 teams. Okay. Well, maybe they'll keep Botas. I don't know. Over at Sauber. Huh. Okay. I forgot about AlphaTauri. Well, they're not called AlphaTauri. That's twice now.
V-Carb.
V-Carb. That's twice. I just realized I just did that more than once. Yeah. So there's 4 seats. There's 4 drivers. And at least one of those seats, somebody not one of those 4 drivers is being named all over the place. So, yeah.
Yep.
Gonna be interesting.
And if you bring doing up the Alpine, that would leave 3.
Yeah. And Mercedes, I don't know. We know Toto can't be holding on for Max at this point, but is it Kimi? Is it somebody else you bring in for a year like a Valtteri? And, he knows the team, all that good stuff.
Valtteri could do some good, in the Mercedes. I think he'd do really good.
He did when he was with them, for sure.
Absolutely.
And he's a great team player. He could really assist George, especially if he goes in knowing that's his role. That your role is to assist George and do whatever George needs you to do. Yeah. So, but we're running out of seats. People. But busy week. Okay, couple of quick fun facts for us. At the Belgian Grand Prix, every driver who finished in the top 10 has won a Grand Prix at some point in their career. That is the first time ever that has happened in F1. And if George hadn't had his issue, it would have been the top 11 drivers. So more than half the grid would have won a Grand Prix at some point in their career. Isn't that nuts? That's just insane.
So much talent.
So much talent. And talent over a long time, right? Alonso's been around forever. Lewis has been around forever. And then you've got a Piastri who it's just his second season. It doesn't even seem like a second season, but just his second season.
And I just saw a TikTok where you've got Lewis talking about someone's age, and he says something like, can you imagine when Verstappen first started? He's like, I'm 30, whatever me. He's like, I just can't imagine that someday we're going to be driving with someone who's born in 2000, and then Oscar was born in 2001. And it's
Yes. It's crazy. I feel like we're so lucky. I think the first time I went to the race in Austin, I just remember thinking, I'm going to be watching 4 world champions on the track this weekend, because we had Seb and we had Max, Lewis, and Alonso. And I was like, how cool is that? Like, how often has that happened in the past? Maybe a lot. I don't know. But like for me, I was like 4 world champion. And now we're watching where more than half the drivers have won a Grand Prix and they're all finishing in the top 10. Like craziness.
Crazy.
Absolute craziness. I love this season. It's the best season ever.
Do. Well, we've got some stats before we get into the Olympics that we also grabbed, which was the most podiums in 2024 so far. There's a lot there too, which is I'm loving it.
That is very exciting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different drivers. So Max tops the list with 9. He hasn't had anything for the last. Lando with 8. That's insane. Charles was 6. I kind of forget how many times Charles has been on the podium this year. Because he's had such a he's especially after Monaco, it just seemed like a really sad year. And Carlos started off really hot and Charles didn't. So I kind of forget. He's been on there 6 times. Carlos with 5, Oscar and Lewis both. Oh, Oscar, Lewis, and Sergio with 4. Who remembered that Sergio has 4 podiums this year?
Right? Like, again, we forget about that. Just there he is quietly along at this. I guess it says something. And then George Russell, that should be 4. Think about it. He did 2 wins just yanked away. Like one for the DQ and one that he was there. And it was like box. We have a water leak.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, that's true. He should be at 4 also. Oh, poor George. That's a cool stat though.
I like that one. And then the next one, which I thought was neat, you pointed me to that one, and then I found this one, which is the average grid position, and to see Max at a 2.6.
Yeah.
I mean, think about that, because he's not 1 point something you would expect.
Yeah.
Because we pull most of the time, but it's a 2.6. It's because he's had to start back a few times, and then he got that 10-place grid penalty, which definitely didn't help. But I thought this was pretty interesting to see Norris up pretty high, and look at like Charles and Sainz are pretty high up on average.
Yeah, which is great because I feel like the last few races we have not been starting very, very high. Well, I mean, it's off and on. Like Charles obviously had pole, but then there was one race where they both just did not start very high.
Yuki's averaging higher than Danny. Alonso higher than Stroll.
Yeah, definitely. Look at the difference between Hülkenberg 12.3 and Magnussen at 16. Yeah. That's a pretty big. Wow. That's a pretty big jump because it seems like most everybody else except for Max at 2.6 and Checo at 8.7. Like that seems to be the biggest jump.
Yeah, and then Bottas 14 and Zhou at 18. Albon, we get 12 and 17. Albon and Sargent.
Yeah. Albon and Sargent, like you pointed out before the call, 17. He's not even 20.
He's not quite last this year. Poor Joe.
I know, poor Joe. And Ocon over Gasly, like very, very interesting. George and Lewis right there, neck and neck.
Right there.
Seem like Leclerc and Sainz.
Yeah, that's just really an interesting. I don't recall seeing that last year, so I thought that was kind of cool. That was kind of a cool thing. So then we have the Olympics. Anything else on F1? Well, F1 at the Olympics.
F1 at the Olympics. Yes. Show those pictures. If you're not on our YouTube, go check them out in case
Oh my gosh, we get so much fun with this. Okay, let me bring this back up. Can I do it like that? Oh yeah, I'm gonna take this off because there's just so much fun.
Yes.
I didn't realize I could do that. Okay. So Charles carried the torch. He got to carry it through Monaco. I totally forgot about that when we were talking about this last week.
This was, I mean, so many times, like with this Olympics, my 2 worlds are colliding. Like Charles carrying the torch through Monaco when it was on its way to Paris. Like what? And I mean, I always think it's such an honor to carry the torch, but holy moly, how cool is that? I love it.
We've seen a lot of the stars there. I didn't grab any of those pictures of the stars there. And you've got some notes about some of them attending, but we have seen us in the fever of people missing out because, there's Alonso Russell. That's
amazing.
We're seeing things. And then people were seeing drivers out there competing. The gentleman supposedly looks like Danny Rick.
Yes, he kind of does. He kind of does.
Yeah.
And I mean, Danny, I mean, Ricciardo is an Italian last name, if you say it, not Ricardo, but, and this is an Italian, looks like a speed walker, maybe?
Yeah, I think so, speed walker.
Yeah. So who knows? Maybe they're related somewhere, because I can kind of see that.
I could too. And people were photoshopping Danny's smile to make it look more like him, but this is the original Getty photo from the photographer. So
yeah,
this is, the real image, but yeah.
That's amazing. I love it.
And then you have Carlos looking out there surfing.
Yes, I love it. And on the what do they call that? The grill the grid, they asked Carlos, well, they asked all the drivers, like, what sport would you do if you were in the Olympics? And Carlos is naming off all this stuff, but surfing was one of them. So he said he could well, not that necessarily he could do, but he's very athletic. So yeah.
And this one's all over. There's so many to talk about the surfing, but when I was grabbing pictures, I was like, someone said, well, what about this guy? And I was like, well, wait a minute. That one kind of looks like him too.
See, I don't see that one at all.
No?
No, not even the slightest little bit. I just don't.
I see him kind of serious, Carlos. I don't know. Spanish guy, very serious. But then, of course, Oscar.
This is great. This is great. That literally looks like Oscar getting ready to compete on pommel horse or something.
It does. It does. It's so awesome.
He's got the whole look down, because Oscar's always got a funny expression or smile or whatever. He's always, he just looks exactly like him. His long lost brother someplace.
I love it. So those are our guys. We're all jonesing for F1 that we're seeing F1 drivers everywhere. Though they were there, because I think Hamilton is attending. He was been seen in the stadium.
He was at fencing. There's a picture of him with Snoop Dogg. And that was all my worlds colliding. Rap, F1, the Olympics, everything happening.
I'm sure you've seen Snoop in his comments about the horses.
Okay. Love Snoop and his dressage. He is the cutest. So did you notice though, and I need to go back and look this because I have not had a chance to watch the individual dressage, but I will watch it. I just haven't, there's been so much, you guys, but there is a horse that from the Netherlands that used Formula One intro music. And I think maybe the outro music. So I need to go and check that out and see, was somebody making that up? But I will tell you.
Sorry. So my favorite part has been Snoop giving his own commentating over horses, doing the dressage or whatnot, and doing that horse is crip walking.
Oh, that was from the last Olympics, that one. But he does, there is a horse that there's a video of him with Martha Stewart, and the horse is literally, his horse's name is Gin and Juice, which, hello, Snoop song. And so he was like, LBC, that's the LBC horse, or Long Beach City. So I don't know. I love it. But I will tell you, I was cleaning or doing dishes or something, and all of a sudden I hear that freaking another Dutch national anthem. And I was like, it was like PTSD. I was like looking at my TV. What is going on? What do I know this song? I was like, it's the Dutch. I think it might have been a rowing something or other event, but I was like, you can't even get away from it. On the Olympics. Oh, but good for you, people, because I know how hard it is. But no, I just needed to be able to mute that. But also Laura Winter, who's an F1 TV commentator, she has been commentating on swimming for one of the British channels. So she was even there doing her thing. Cool. So yes, there's a crossover with F1 with the Olympics.
Well, you need to check the F1 or She Loves the Grid TikTok messages, because I sent you one about how you can apply to be a volunteer at the Madrid Olympics.
Ooh,
Ooh.
I would do
So
that.
I know you would. So I sent that to you.
Yes. I want to be like somebody in charge though. Like
I know. I know you do.
I would love it. Wait, when is Madrid? Because LA's next.
2 years. It's the Winter Olympics.
It's a Winter Olympics.
2 years.
Ooh.
Oh, just the timeline and everything.
Cold there?
Huh? Yeah, the snow up in the mountain ranges and everything that's there. Come on, figure skating.
I know, figure skating. Oh my gosh. The half pipe, like, oh.
We'll do a She Loves the Grid exclusive from the Winter Olympics.
I would love it. Oh my goodness. Yes, I have to look into that.
I sent you a message.
Thank you.
Anyway, I think we've gotten off the deep end, and
yes.
yeah, we're ready for the summer too.
Yes, I know. So a couple more weeks. We probably won't record next weekend because literally nothing is happening. But then we'll be back because then we've got the Netherlands Grand Prix is going to be the first race back. Max's home race. I use air quotes. But always a crazy time there. And they are fighting to keep that Grand Prix. So they are going to probably try to pull out all the stops to make it amazing. So
looking forward to it. And then Monza. So exciting.
Ordered my Carlos Sainz nail. I don't know what you call them. Fake nail thingies. I have to figure out how to put them on, but I can't wait. I'm going all Ferrari.
There you go. All right. Well, I think we're done, and we will see you guys in a couple weeks.
Bye.
Bye. See ya. If you enjoyed this episode and you'd like to help support the podcast, please subscribe and leave a rating and a review. To stay up to date with She Loves the Grid and get all the behind-the-scenes content, you can follow us on Instagram at She Loves the Grid and on Facebook at facebook.com/She Loves the Grid. Thank you for joining us for the ride this week.